Hey everyone, and welcome. My name's Aaron, and today I'm stoked to be with my good friend and amazing drummer, Anthony Ghazel. And Anthony has played in a bunch of different sort of genres, from pop to hard rock and metal to hip hop, and most recently has been touring and playing a lot with Seattle-based hip hop artist Ryan Caraveo. And just did Bumbershoot a couple weeks ago and saw some videos from that. Look dope.
Yeah, it was fun.
And also, Anthony has a YouTube channel where he does a bunch of drum covers, and they're really well done. So definitely check that channel out. It's a lot of fun. Anthony, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So how did you get into drumming?
I started when I was about 13. I was at a buddy's house. We used to play Halo all the time, and he had a drum kit. And I was like, dude, like, what? You play the drums, like, teach me something.
Right.
And we sat down, and he taught me this just real simple, And I picked it up instantly, and I mean, it was like literally that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do this more. That's where it started, and my local church had a drum kit at the church that I would just go over and play on weeknights and stuff like that. I was just obsessed with it immediately. And I never had any family members who played drums. My mom is a musician. She sings and plays piano, but I never had any drumming influence. It just kind of, that's what fell in my lap.
You were meant to do it.
It's
amazing. I love it. When you first started, who were some drummers that you like looked up that you were like, okay, here's who I got to play like this guy or whatever?
Yeah. So early on, what influenced me was I never listened to heavy metal before I played drums, honestly. And about within a year of playing drums, I realized heavy metal drumming just like really turned me on.
It's amazing.
Like, oh my god, you guys are so sick. So. Of course, Slipknot, Joey Jordison was one of the guys. Mike Portnoy.
Dream Theater.
Yeah, from Dream Theater, yep. Vinnie Paul from Pantera. And of course, these were bands that my parents didn't want me to listen to, and I kind of kept it low key. But I was listening to Ozzy Osbourne and Pantera and Slayer, Dave Lombardo and guys like that. And I was just obsessed with, fast double bass, and, hitting the drums as hard as you can. And so I listened to metal records and just try to just copy what they're doing.
Right.
And back then, YouTube wasn't so big, so you couldn't. It was hard to find videos, and the videos you did find were really low quality. Yeah. So I actually did purchase a few live DVDs. A Slipknot DVD. I purchased a Dimmu Borgir DVD. I don't know if you ever heard of that. That band's really metal. I purchased Lamb of God. I purchased a Killswitch Engage DVD. And these I could actually learn from.
Talk about like your first band experience.
Let's see, the first band that I was in, it was called Squidgerino Squelcher. That is true. I've gone back and listened to the one record we did, and it's really not that bad.
It's pretty sweet.
It's actually kind of cool. We did it in this little studio in Canada. They're highly influenced by like Weezer, Death Cab, stuff like that. So that was kind of what our sound was. Yeah.
And watching your drum covers and things like that on YouTube, do you have to get in a different headspace when you're playing like a pop song than if you're playing like a metal song or?
Oh, yeah. I totally, honestly. It's a way different vibe. So like, if I go to play like a metal, when I've played in metal bands or whatever, it's a completely different mind space. Yeah. I'm hitting way harder. Yeah. Like the kit is physically set up differently. I'll raise my cymbals a little more.
Oh, really?
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I switch I'll play a double pedal versus a single pedal, or my hi-hats, I'll bring my hi-hats a little higher because I want a little more room. When you're doing, those beats, you want it's fun to have a little more room there. For me personally.
Sure. So how did you get the hookup with Ryan? And I mean, you've been playing like metal and maybe some like pop punk stuff. Yeah. So how did that happen, and what's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, so in 2011, I started playing in my first Seattle band. It was a punk rock band, and called To Paint the Sky. That was kind of like my get in the door band. Yeah. And I still love those folks. They're great people. It just wasn't like what I wanted to do long term. And so shortly after that, I started playing a pop band. And then I was at UW and I saw Chitty Bang. And I don't know if and I saw Common. Both of those rappers while I was at UW. And I remember seeing they both had live drummers. And I was like, rap with live drums? Like, this is the sickest ever. Yeah. This makes this so much more interesting. And specifically Chitty Bang, I watched that and I was like, I can do that. Like, it was just a rapper and a drummer. They didn't even have a DJ. So I started connecting with a couple rappers in Seattle, and this one guy named Don Dishes, who's actually a good friend of mine. I just watched him play a couple nights ago. We played a couple shows together. And at one of those shows, I met a guy named Ross Sion, who was from Common Market. And he was like, I'd been a fan of Common Market for a long time, and he's like, dude, you want to it was mostly me pushing it on him. Like,
Yeah.
you need a drummer. And we played a couple fun. We played Sasquatch and Bumbershoot and a bunch of fun shows and festivals together. And
Killer.
then through one of those festivals, it was actually the Macefield Music Festival in Ballard. Pretty much 2 years ago, around this time, I think it was early October 2 years ago.
Okay.
I met this guy named Ryan Carvea, and we were stacked right next to each other on the stage we were playing. Sure enough, we met, and the same thing happened. It was like, hey, you need a drummer? Like,
Yeah.
I know you've never had one, but it might be kind of fun. And here we are 2 years later.
I love that. So you just invited yourself into the band.
Honestly, that's how it went. It was like, I know you're doing this, but you need me.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't need me, but it's been a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working with Ryan, and and our DJ Vega, and our management. Everyone has been so cool and so fun to
Yeah.
work with, and me
Sweet.
and Ryan we're super good friends. And,
Killer. So how does it work when you play live with a rapper? For somebody who hasn't seen that or doesn't know, like, technically, are you like playing over the top of the beats, or are they like muting certain parts?
I actually play on top of the beats.
Okay.
So we don't like cut out any snare drums or kick drums or anything.
Yeah.
We don't cut out any drums that I'm replacing. I'm actually playing on top of them.
Yeah.
So part of the challenge there is that I need to find ways to accentuate what's already there
Right.
and try not to overpower it.
Right.
And then there's some times where I'll be, learning a song, and I'm like, this part's better without me,
Right, sure.
Takes a little bit of humility, and you have
Sure.
to like learn to step back. So I'll just know in my head, after that verse, this bridge doesn't need drums,
Right.
it just needs a little bit of ting ting ting, and some
Right.
cymbal washes, or whatever. Or this part needs rim clicks because a full blown snare drum is too much for this
Right.
kind of quieter part. But yeah, to answer the question, I'm
Right.
playing over it.
How do you tune your kit when you play with the drum? Is your snare real tight? Or?
Yeah. I'm actually playing an 8x14 DW snare right
Okay.
now, and I just
So
put
it's
big.
it's big, yeah.
I just put die-cast hoops on it too.
Yeah.
And I have a Remo Power Stroke P77 on it. I just
Okay.
crank it. And just
Yeah. So it's
absolutely
just-
smash it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the snare drum's real cracky.
Yeah. Do you put a ring on there or anything like that?
No, one
Yeah.
moon gel.
Okay, yeah.
And then the toms, I actually, that's another thing is I play a 5-piece with rap.
Okay.
And I like doing that because I like having the 10-inch tom. It's so
Right.
much more fun to play that.
Yeah.
The tom is not really worthwhile in like a lot of the metal or hardcore I play. I
Right.
like playing a 4-piece with that.
Sure.
But for rap, having that 10-inch tom is a lot of fun. And,
Right.
And,
That makes sense with the more kind of gospel roots of maybe some of the
Totally.
rap stuff. Is you have that higher pitched stuff.
Very rare to
Yeah.
see a gospel drummer playing a 4-piece. I usually throw clear heads on Remo pinstripes. Are
Okay.
kind of my go-to right now, or sometimes the vintage Emperor's clears.
Yep.
So, but I like clear heads on the toms for
Yeah.
rap because there's a lot more attack.
Right.
You get like live or like
Yeah.
boom. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, right.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love dead sounding
Yeah.
drums
Right.
for their application, but
Right.
for what this is, it's cool to have like live, kind of slightly higher pitched
Yeah.
tuning.
Killer. What I like about, if you're going to add your own creative spin on something, is not just you're not just like showing off your chops over the whole thing. You understand the point of the song, or whatever. And that's like that's like what I liked about, and what I like about your playing is sort of like, I feel like you understand what the song is about, and you'll throw some fun Anthony stuff in there, but it's not like it only sort of enhances like the, hey, this is exciting. This is an exciting part, or this part makes me feel like this or whatever. So I'm going to add this thing or whatever. And so
Thank you. That's actually like the biggest compliment I could probably receive as a drummer, to be honest. And that's kind of what I go for. Is I don't want. I know I'm not the best drummer. I don't want to be. I'm not Vinny Colaiuta. Like
You're pretty good though.
Thanks. But the one thing I've almost always kept with me, since I learned this early on, probably like at 16, 17 years old, is like that less is more.
Right.
And it's such a good backbone to remember when you're writing drum parts or like playing parts. It's just nobody really cares if you can shred. Nobody really cares if you can blast beat at 260 beats per minute. But
It's like
care.
impressive, but then I forgot about
But
it
then
5 minutes later.
right.
Yeah.
People want to hear a groove. They want to dance. They
Yeah.
want to like shake their head and like
Right.
if you look down in a crowd and people are going like this,
Yeah.
then you're doing something
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And they're not doing that
I
if
love
you're
that.
ripping.
Yeah.
Right? They're
I
not
love
going
that.
to be doing that.
The artist, pop artist Robin. Have you listened to her?
Hell
Amazing.
yeah.
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 But she said something similar to that. It was like, she's like, I love looking out in the audience and seeing people just raging and going crazy. She's like, but my favorite thing is seeing someone at the back of the crowd with their eyes closed,
Just like feeling it.
just doing this.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, and like
Totally.
life's worth it, and all of this is
Life's
worth it, 'cause I'm
worth it.
connecting with that one person
yeah,
who's
yeah.
like, okay, I get this, I get
For
it.
sure.
But yeah, it's like it's a deep thing. It's the point of, and I think that's what keeps me coming back to, continuing to pursue, and even though it's so much work and whatever, music is because it's that deeper connection of like human being to human being, and
It totally is.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for chatting with me and everything.
course. Thanks
it's
for having me.
interesting to hear your story. Why don't we sit down at the kit and maybe you can like show us some stuff?
Cool.
What do
That
you
sounds
think?
great. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.